welcome to another episode of Toro podcast. Just bring the microphone like close by.
Sure thing. Is that good?
Good.
Beautiful.
On the house, we got Sonny Roche.
Roche.
Yes,
sir.
All right, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Good. Sonny Roche is a competitor, brown belt, and new business owner of American Grappling Academy.
That is right. And plan on opening within the next couple weeks. A little soft opening. So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Nice, man.
Mm-hmm.
So let us start at the beginning, I guess, of your jiu-jitsu journey. When did you start? How long ago did you start training?
So I don't even remember when I started, to be honest with you. I believe I started 7 years ago.
Okay.
I may be wrong, maybe more, maybe less. So 6 to 7 years ago, I was originally a boxer. So I trained under the new Ray Robinson for quite some time. And most people, if you're from the area, you know who Ray is. He's a Philly legend, you know. And I believe he's still local.
Yeah.
He trains a bunch of guys that, I used to train under previously at my old gym. He's there. So I was originally into boxing, and my buddy knew this, and he's like, hey, you should really come to this gym. They have boxing, but they also have jiu-jitsu. I had no clue what jiu-jitsu was. I knew what pro wrestling was, though.
Yeah.
I knew submissions from, the WWE, WWF, ECW. I knew what that was.
Yeah.
I knew what an arm bar was or a leg lock, or at least I thought I did, right? And I always thought that stuff was super cool, but I didn't know there was a sport that only does that. And so my buddy brought me to a jiu-jitsu class. I didn't even try the kickboxing or anything there. And I think our first day we were just doing back defense, and it was fine. It was very basic class. You did like a warm-up. You did, very traditional. You do rolls and shrimps. Then it was like, 30 to 45-minute instruction. Then you roll. And my first class, I went all out, and I could barely breathe after. Like, I could literally feel my lungs burning because I had absolutely no clue what I was doing. And the rest is history. I just kept coming back. And I didn't train all that much the first couple years. The first 3 years, I barely trained. I probably trained maybe once a week, twice a week if I was lucky, because my mind was elsewhere. My priorities professionally were, in the restaurant industry. And so it wasn't until, I would say, 3-4 years ago, that's when I really started to take it. I started to really take it in a professional approach because I started to fall in love. Because I started to fall in love with the problem-solving part of it and getting better. And I felt myself getting better. And I really liked that because I was really never good at anything in my life, besides cooking maybe. And that's my start, I'm not sure if you want me to still keep on talking about.
I mean, like let's dive a little bit into your culinary background. You went to culinary school, right?
I did, yes. So I went to tech school, and that was a 3-year program. Basically,
is this right after high school?
This is in high school.
In high school,
yes. So in high school, at least in my high school, you can start going to the tech school when you are a sophomore, so right after your freshman year. And basically it goes like the first couple hours of your day are regular high school, and then 10:30 rolls around, and then you get onto the bus to go to the tech school, and you finish your day there. That's how it went, and that's a 3-year program. And through that, I gained a lot of connections and made a lot of friends. The chef instructors there were fantastic. They actually got me my first job in a real kitchen at a country club, and that's where I just started working and learning. Right when I got, not in school, but when I got my actual job, that's when I started learning. That's when I saw like, oh, this is what it's about. And I believe I was either 15 or 16 years old, and I was putting in 14, 15-hour shifts at this country club. like brutal hours. Because that's one thing that never changed about me is I put in the hours and I don't stop until I get to where I want it to be. And at that point, I was the lowest on the pole.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be. I didn't like that. So I just put in those hours, man. And it was every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, grueling hours, nonstop. I didn't even take a break. I was on my feet 14, 15 hours a day, especially during wedding season. And from there, I learned how to cater premium weddings, premium events, golf outings, and all that. I learned under the best of guys. Then from there, I kind of took a break from the catering background because I wanted to learn even more. So I went to a local restaurant and I learned how to work the line.
Yeah.
Which two completely different animals, catering and working the line. Now, the hours were still tough, but not as long. Probably only like 10 hours. Still long, but that's pretty typical in the restaurant.
Yeah.
You can ask anybody. No one's working 8-hour shifts.
No.
It's not a thing in the restaurant industry, telling you. So I started working the line, and again, I was right at the bottom again. I didn't like that. So I continued to work. I picked up everybody's shifts. I never really called out either. I think I called out maybe once or twice during that time. And the chef there was probably one of my favorite guys I ever worked under, Chef Brendan. He is a fantastic dude. Very, very personable. I still talk to him to this day. He's still very supportive of me. And he taught me so much. Like, he's literally one of those guys that really took me under his wing. He had me coming in early to help him with, special dinners that they would put on a couple times a year. Mm-hmm. He really pushed me to learn every single position on the line. I started in pantry, which is basically one of the easier positions. That's where you're working salads. That's where all cold stuff, pretty much, yeah. And also desserts. Since a lot of restaurants, they don't really do their own desserts, at least at that level. So you would do all the cold stuff, all the desserts, and then he had me actually on the line, right? He started me off with, deep fried goods and just kind of helping out a little bit. And then eventually I worked my way all the way up to saute, which is one of the harder positions to work because you're working all the filet mignons. You are doing all the dishes that take a little bit longer. And I don't even think he told me to do it. I just said, I'm doing this, and I threw myself on. I don't even remember anyone being like, hey, you want to do this? I just did it. And I just learned as we went.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my experience on the line. Then right after, I would pick up actually, no, I'm missing a big part, right? I actually worked on opening up my own restaurant. Yeah, right after that. That's right. I almost forgot. This is a big part of my life.
Yeah,
there's a lot to this.
There's time, so go for it.
There's a lot to this. So right after that, I got an opportunity to actually open up my own restaurant. And at the time, I went to college. I was in community college. At a local culinary school, and I went over to this Indian restaurant that's near us in Newtown, and I was close with the woman that worked there, and she knew I was in culinary school. She knows I was in the restaurant industry, and the one day she comes up to me and she starts spitting out ideas about how she wants to open up a vegan restaurant. Now I'm like, okay, I don't really know much, but I can learn. Mm-hmm. And she's like, but I want you to be the chef. I'm like, oh my gosh, no way. So we start talking about it, and she recently went into a new spot right across the street, right into a bigger spot. And her old spot still didn't have anyone that took over it. So she's like, how about we use the old spot? I'm like, sure. So I go over And I start planning everything, and I'm like, why should I even be in college right now? Why should I have a job? I'm right where I want to be.
Yeah.
I always wanted to open up my own restaurant. That was my plan since I was a kid. So I was like, all right, well, let's burn the boats, right? That's just how I am. So I quit my job. I quit college. Destroyed my GPA. I think it went from like very good. I think it was like a 3.5, which is unheard of for someone like me, all the way down to like a 2.5 or something, whatever is the lowest, because I just left.
You got the points for writing your name down.
Yeah, exactly. So I quit everything. I'm like, all right, cool. Let me just go all in on this. I created a menu. I cleaned the old place up. They left without cleaning it up. Disgusting. I'm telling you, there was cockroaches all over. It was absolutely horrendous. I don't like bugs, and I had to force myself. I'm like, oh my gosh, I had to. It was horrendous. And I cleaned this whole place up. I power washed the place. I scrubbed it down, Dawn dish soap, disinfect it, bleach everywhere. And I got my dad in there. Got friends helping me with stuff in there. I'm about to repaint the whole spot. I got a menu set up. We got a whole dishwashing system put in there. I got a staff ready. I think I had 2 people ready to quit their jobs. Thank God they didn't. And I'm making announcements on Facebook. I move fast. I don't mess around.
Yeah.
I'm expecting her to match my speed. Starts to get a little weird with me. It starts like not answering my messages as fast and taking a couple days. I'm like, I go over. I'm like, wait, what's going on? And she's just explaining to me like, oh my gosh, like my dog died, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, cool. What about this restaurant? And she's like, I don't know. It's very expensive, blah blah blah, and kind of beating around the bush. And I'm just trying to get answers from her, and I'm just like trying to text her and whatnot, and she's just not answering. I'm like, I guess we're not doing this. And that was that. And she just kind of left me in the dust. I'm like, well, that's very nice of you. I left my job. I left college. I left everything to pursue this perceived dream of mine. And you couldn't even tell me, hey, we're not doing this. And she also said, hey, I never told you to quit your job. Hey, I never told you to quit college. I never told you to clean the place. Even though I told her.
Yeah. No, that's crazy, man. Some people are just crazy. Like when I was in college, I was doing landscaping. And like I got to the point where I got my associate's degree. But I always knew like college wasn't for me either. So I was just like, I'm not pursuing any further than that. And I was doing landscaping, and I was making good money for, 20-something-year-old, right? And I was running a landscaping business for this guy who lived in Argentina. And he would come once a year, pretty much collect all the money, and then leave. So it's like I'm running the place, basically.
Yeah.
And like I'm doing all the invoices, I'm meeting the customers. I'm the only one with the driver's license, so I'm the only one driving everything. And then he's like, I want to sell the business, and all the machinery is like old. The truck is old, and he wanted an absorbent amount of money for what it was worth. And I was just like, yeah, I'm not willing to do that. And he says, well, the other option is 2 more years of you doing this basically for free, and then it's all yours at the end, with like no contract, no paperwork or anything like that. I'm just like,
classic.
No, that's not what I'm gonna do. The other guy who was working with us, he's like, I'll take that deal, because he has nothing to lose. He was gonna work anyway, and it just became horrible, and I just left. I was like, nah, I'm done with that. And then went to work at other like tree companies and stuff like that. Didn't work out there. We had our kid, and there was like complications with our oldest, so I just became a stay-at-home dad. And from there it was just like learning programming and learning a different trade. Went did like data entry, all kinds of like low-level jobs, until I got into the programming and development world and went up from there. But Yeah, I understand. Some people are just like, they want to use you to like better themselves, but then at the same time, like remove themselves when it's not.
And here's the thing, and maybe anybody that's watching this can learn one thing from me. I don't have a lot of knowledge, but I learned one thing from that. Never do anything without a contract.
Yeah.
just don't. My buddy Drew, Drew, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He told me one thing, and it really got me thinking. And it's so simple. He looks at me, and he's helping me out with so many things with this gym. He's a great dude, very selfless. He says, Sonny, listen, people don't care as much as you think they do. I'm like, oh my gosh, that changed everything for me. He told me that I think about 2 weeks ago. Maybe it was last week.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, you're absolutely right. Because I'm a guy that cares so much. I got to remember that not everybody is, not everyone's me.
Yeah.
Right? There's bad people out there. There's people that genuinely are trying to take advantage of you, even though they don't look like it on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that mostly everybody that is listening to this can relate to something like that. You know?
Definitely. I mean, yeah, I thank my wife all the time, but she's like the careful one. She's the one that like saved us so many times from like getting into bad situation, because at the time, if it wasn't for her too, like I probably would have jumped on that deal, and hell no, like the truck breaks down, and then you're gonna have to buy something new. You're already in the water under stuff. Like there's so many situations that she looked at it and she's like, nope, that's not gonna work out, or you got to be more careful, or always read every single part of the contract. Like we were moving to a place, and we were like scanning the whole, and they were like so pissed that we're taking so long to sign a contract. And my wife's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like I have to read every single line and understand. And it's like, no, but you should just like, this says this says that. And it's like, yeah, just let us read it,
Yeah, and that's why getting a lawyer for stuff like that too it's going to pay you dividends.
Yeah. No, especially when you start going into,
oh my gosh, yeah, getting
like
a lawyer,
retail space, all that stuff. It's like a completely different world, right? Because not only like are you a great jiu-jitsu practitioner and competitor and have all the merits to create a great business, but then it's like now you're starting to think about becoming a business owner also, and start wearing different hats. So that how's that been so far, and what do you think of the things to come?
Yeah, it's been a scary thing so far. It's very foreign to me. A lot of the stuff I kind of knew about just from being in, I would say self-employed for a little bit, but actually having a physical space and a real business where I do eventually want to hire people, it's a whole different animal.
Yeah.
I'm learning about all this different stuff that you cannot prepare for.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, you can't learn this from a course. I don't think. Like there's so much stuff that you can't prepare for. The amount of time it takes, the amount of hands that are into something as simple as just opening up a building. There are a lot of hands in this, right? You got my lawyers, you got the landlord, you got the ownership of the building, and you got none of that, but you got the borough, you got even your neighbors, even the community kind of decides like, hey, can this guy open? And how long is it going to take for this guy to open? There's a lot that surprised me. Yeah, and it's a lot of money. Yeah. I'll tell you that much. If you're trying to open up a jiu-jitsu,
not for the faint of heart.
If you're opening up a jiu-jitsu school, be sure to. I'm not open yet, but I've put in a lot more money than I would have ever thought in my life. So I've been. Everyone's in your pockets, and you're going to be writing checks to a lot of people. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So let's go a little bit into your competition history. You are a brown belt. You've competed at nationals at brown belt also.
I've competed at nationals and worlds at brown belt.
Worlds.
Hmm.
Nice.
Yes.
Placed in nationals number 1.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Yes.
Sorry. Didn't mean to hit sore spots.
Thanks. I should have been number 1.
Yeah, should have been.
In another world, I am. Yeah.
Yeah. But really, really accomplished competitor. Like when you have this mentality of like always competing, always making yourself better, and that's the reason you compete, or is there another?
I just like to see how far I can go. That's it. There's nothing else. Like, I'm not even the biggest fan of competing. You know, I don't like to feel scared. I don't like to feel anxious. Who does? But I just like to see, is the stuff that I'm doing really working? Am I able to do this against guys from all over the world? And am I able to beat some of the best guys? I think there's something really exciting before and after doing that. But like right in the moment, it's like, ooh, like this is a little scary. Like this guy is trying to do the same thing that I'm trying to do to him. Like he wants to win, and that's a little scary. But I just like to see how far I can get, and that's it. And I love the lead up to the competition. If there's a big competition, I love hard training. I love a great training camp. I love problem solving with all my training partners. I think that's so fun. And I love the problem solving aspect of afterwards too. Like, hey, I did this wrong. And now you fix it, and then you go back out there to see if it works.
Yeah.
And luckily, a lot of times it does work.
I know, like with Nick and Danny, they always coach on saying like this should feel like a cheat code, right? Like the second you solve the problem is like doot doot, and you just pass. You just like you're in the zone, and I think I also love the problem solving of that, but I don't have that competitor mindset, or I don't know if I just psych myself out. I think I overthink like the whole situation, and like, do I pull guard? Do I do this? Do I do that? And that at the end I have no game plan, and it's just like turns out horrible for me. So, is there any advice for not me, anybody else out there with that same problem?
So psyching yourself out, I think that's just normal.
Yeah.
You have to understand that your opponent is feeling the same exact thing. They're human too. They're not a crazy monster like they say they are on social media. You know what I mean? Most people are the toughest dudes on social media, but like they get out on the competition mat, they're like, you can see them sweating beforehand. For me, I'm just naive when I'm going out and competing. I'm just like, oh, I'm just doing what I do every day, which is jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Right? I like what I do. I'm just going out there and I'm having fun. That's it. And then if I get a bite on something, I'm going to try to, rip it off and break it. But that's the whole point of the game.
Yeah.
I'm not in there being like, I'm going to absolutely like kill this guy. Like, I don't like this guy. That's not me. I like people. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure I can go out and get a drink with him afterwards.
Yeah.
And there have been times where I have gotten food with my competitors after and had a nice conversation, and we become really good buddies.
Yeah. No, especially when you start like compete a lot, right? Like you compete against the same people.
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes they're, people who are acquaintance or people who
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, plenty. There's people that I compete against all the time, multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not so much anymore. A lot of those guys have, they're either still at the lower ranks, higher ranks, or just doing like, local competitions or just teaching. But there's guys that, every now and then I'll go against them again.
Yeah.
And actually recently I did have one. It was at a Jersey Open, I believe in the summer. And he beat me a couple years ago. I was a purple belt. I believe it was 2 years ago he beat me. And it wasn't anything terrible. It was in overtime, and, he beat me then. But 2 years later, we go against each other again, and it's completely different.
Yeah.
And I could have easily psyched myself out, like, oh, man, this guy already beat me. It was kind of in the back of my head. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm just out here having fun. This is what I like to do. I like training, and, competing's just a part of it. And I'm doing this for not just me, but for all my students watching me. They take a lot of inspiration, and they told me that. So I didn't really psych myself out, and I won. And I won in a very good manner. Yeah, it was good.
Now, part of the stuff that you do currently is teaching children.
Mm-hmm.
What do you like about that, and how long have you been in the coach persona?
This is my favorite topic. So I've been coaching since I was a purple belt. So I believe I started 3 years ago, about maybe a little bit more. That's when I started coaching children. And I got into the opportunity when I was at my old gym, and they were trying to get people to help with the kids program because there was only one coach, teaching it, which that's not enough. You need multiple people on the mat. So I'm like, yeah, I'll help out. And I walk in, and basically the guy that's doing the kids program, he's like, all right, I'll teach the big kids and you teach the little kids. Okay, cool. There's a lot of little kids. There was probably about, not a lot, there's probably about 10 of them, which is a good amount for first time teaching. And it went horribly. It was, I had no clue how to talk to them. I had no clue how to teach them. I didn't know any of their names. I didn't know how to control them. They were loud and messing around. And by the end, I was like, I was sweating bullets. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, how am I going to do this every day? It wasn't every day at the time, but it was twice a week. I'm like, how am I going to do this? And I went back. And I tried again. Didn't go very good, but it went a little bit better. And then I kept going back, and, I got some help every now and then. And they helped me out. Just some parents of kids that stepped up on the mat and, just helped me out, coach. And then eventually I started figuring a lot of things out about kids. You can't really teach them like adults. Sometimes you can, but what's the fun in that?
Yeah.
I realized that when you walk into that room, you have to be the most interesting guy in the world. If they're not interested in you, you're smoked. If you're not making class fun, they're out and they're screaming and running and playing tag. And you're not telling them what to do. That's just how it is. They're kids. And I realized that. I'm like, oh, I have to be interesting. I have to make this fun. I have to keep them engaged. And so I started just figuring little things out as I went. And I audited myself every single class. What can I do better? Can I talk louder? Is this a good technique or game that I'm trying to show them? And then eventually I got to the point where I really had a good structured system going with teaching children. In each class was very organized, very structured, and all the parents and all the coaches could see it. The kids were listening when they need to listen. They were learning at a pretty rapid pace, and everybody was very satisfied. And so was I. So I eventually grew, my first kids program from, I think when I went in there first, I think a bunch of people left because I just sucked so bad, to be honest. It's part of the game, right? I didn't really have many people to help me either, so I had to figure it out, most of it out myself through the internet, through books. Grew from 5 kids at a low point, and then we got that all the way up to probably 60, 70 kids within 3 years. And that's because they were pretty impressed with just how we did things. And then I eventually left that gym, where I didn't. Also, before I left, I actually got opportunities to teach other places too.
Yeah.
My good buddy, mine, now he's a good buddy, Kevin, he owns a gym in Quakertown. He contacted me and asked me to start teaching there twice a week. I said, sure. He liked what I did. At first I was doing 2 classes every, twice a week. He's like, all right, let's bump it up to 3 classes. So I did 3 classes in a single day, and I did that twice a week. And he's a big reason why I was able to make a living through this and sustain myself, and to actually test different teaching strategies out on these kids. And we'll have to say that those kids got so good so quick, and it kills me that I have to leave them.
Yeah.
And
I always see like you not only going to competitions yourself, but also going there and to support the kids and taking pictures with all of the winners and all that stuff. So definitely I can attest to seeing the results of your teaching with the kids that you coach.
Yeah.
It is very, and not only that, which is, I think, more importantly, the parents are happy too.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
so when they are happy, that's when it's like, because it's like kids can be happy, produce results, all that stuff, but it's always like, are the parents gonna be the ones gonna keep coming back and keep bringing it back and keep paying the monthly fee?
Yeah, the parents are the one that pay at the end of the day. The parents are the customer.
Yeah.
So are the kids.
Yeah.
Right. The
No,
kids
definitely.
have the say. If your
I'm
kid
not
hates
saying
it,
like focus on the parents, but I'm just saying the parents are happy with you, and I can see that.
Yes. And that's what I try to do. 99% of the time, if the kid is happy and he enjoys, or she enjoys being there, then the parent's probably going to be happy.
Yeah.
Because the best, any parent wants to see their kid having a blast and actually learning.
Yeah.
And
even if they don't want to compete, why not learn from like what works, right? Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, and I think it's so important to have that competition background too. If you are a coach, even if you're scared to compete, I don't care, just do it.
Yeah.
If you have a working body, I think you really should.
Yeah.
Reason being is because you can only learn so much about competition. From if you never do it, you can only learn so much. You learn so much more by doing it. That's just how human beings are wired.
Yeah.
We do things, right? Watching stuff, it's cool, but you aren't actually engaged. When you actually do it, now you can teach the kids. Hey, this is what you shouldn't do in competition. Hey, this is what you should expect. This is how I think most important, this is what you are going to feel. Kids do not understand emotions. I don't know a single person that is under the age of like 16 that understands emotions. You have no clue what you're going through. You have no clue what anxiety is, or you really don't know too much about what fear is, besides maybe like you heard something in your closet, right? Now you have another, little person across from you that's trying to rip your head off. And they know that. They're not dumb, right? They know that they're trying to win too. So being able to not only be a coach, but be a emotional support for those children is such a huge, huge deal. Because what is a parent going to do? They can be like, oh, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
The kid knows, hey, Mom, Dad, you never competed before. They're not. What do you know, right? They see right through it. Kids see what you do, not what you say.
Yeah.
Right? That's one of my favorite sayings.
100%.
They see what you do. They don't care about what you say. If you say to eat healthy and you're eating McDonald's, guess what they're going to eat? I'm going to eat McDonald's. Yeah. So being that example, and that's what I strive to do. And my kids see me being the example. And one of my favorite moments personally in my career is when I was competing at an event, and it went on very, very late. Like I'm talking,
Oh yeah, I
I'm
remember.
talking 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock at night. And one of the parents sent me a picture, I think at like 12:30 at night, and he had this kid in front of the TV watching me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is why I do this.
Yeah.
I don't care if I fail in life. I see that picture, I'm like, oh, this is great. This is why I do this.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like I don't,
I help
money's-
out with the kids
Yeah.
program too, and for me, I love it because it's like it's so great to see one the kids who are like mid roll and they're like listening and they're implementing what you're saying, and it's just like, and then they come over and say, oh, thank you so much for that. Like that's so rewarding for myself. It's like so selfish, but I love it. It's like I do it for myself, and two, I really do feel like it does make my jiu-jitsu a lot better. To In order to give advice, it's like I need to know it. I need to know exactly what is happening. I need to like analyze that, and many times in my own roles, I can like call back to an advice I was giving somebody else, like a kid, and give that same advice to myself, like it's in that split second. And so I really enjoy it for those reasons.
Yes,
Yeah.
I believe I read an article a while ago, and they said that one of the best ways to retain information is to teach it.
Yeah,
Right? I'm not sure what article that is, and
I remember this.
there's
Like
probably plenty of them.
there's like one is like know the information, review the information. It's like another level. Write down the information. It's like another level of retaining. And then the last one would be to teach it, and that's like the best way of retention.
Yeah, because you really got to understand something if you want to teach it. At least teach it in a simple way. If you have to teach it in a complex way, you probably don't know it too well.
So tell us about where is your gym gonna be?
My gym is located in the heart of Bridgeport, Pennsylvania. So that's right next to Norristown, right next to King of Prussia, right next to Conshohocken, right around there. Sure, things that good. Right in Bridgeport.
So if you're in the Delaware Valley, not Delaware Valley,
Montgomery County.
Montgomery County.
Yes.
Look for
doing
American
all right. How are you?
Grappling Academy. And soon, by the time this episode comes out, AmericanGrapplingAcademy.com.
Yes.
It's going to be great, man.
That's right.
I
And,
really
plan
wish you
on
the best. I
opening
know
in the
you're going
next
to be
couple
super
weeks.
successful at it. You have
Little
that
soft
personality.
So
You're just going to
excited.
conquer everything, man. That you
I hope so. I hope
really appreciate your time here. All right?